And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
Boom, and we're live. How'd that sound? Does that sound like Chris? As you guys could tell, we're one man short today. Seems like we can't get the full crew in the booth, but we are back nonetheless. Big pay-per-view event this weekend, UFC 265. Got a solid card this weekend, guys. Do not sleep on it. I know Amanda Nunes fell off there, but man, there are some fan favorites on this card. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I think we got some good reads on the fights this weekend, so you definitely want to tune in for sure. MMA X Gossip across all social media platforms. I'm currently on a social media hiatus, so don't look for me to be posting anything. I can't take you left-wing lunatics anymore like Megan Rapinoe, so I had to shut it down for a second. Anyway, without what's that saying? I already forget. Mike,
without further ado,
because I got a fat dinner waiting for me. Let's dive into this card and see what we got going on.
Yeah. Schedules can't seem to align. We're all on different schedules, but it's all good. We'll link up soon. Chris might even make a surprise appearance, he said, at some point during the episode. So, yeah, UFC 265. Real quick, Matt, what do you think? Dana says, I will never force my fighters to take the vaccine. What do you think?
Dude, I think it's how the whole country should be handling things. And the argument behind this is way deeper than it's worth talking about on this podcast, but just at face value, people, the second you start taking away people's rights in that aspect, it's a very slippery slope because you could start doing with everything and all of a sudden people become accepting of it. And that's how I look at this whole thing. You know, at the end of the day, UFC fighters are the absolute peak definition of athleticism, health, all the above, right? Look across all other sports. Name one athlete across any sport in any country that had severe complications that forced them to either A, end their career, or B, die. Because off the top of my head, I can't think of one. If there's one gigantic group of people that are fucking built to withstand COVID and just get over it in 2 weeks, you know, obviously stay home, social distance, yada, yada, yada. I'm not completely knocking it, but these people are made to defend this. The shield of armor they carry is stronger than any fucking vaccine they can inject in their bodies. And I think that Dana White is setting a precedent by saying, no, my fighters do not have to get the vaccine. I'm leaving it up to their decision. This is a free country, and that's what it's all about, baby.
Oh, man. Couldn't have said it better myself, Matt. All right. UFC 265. We all knew Amanda Nunes was going to win, and everyone thought the card was shit after she dropped off. But this is low-key. If you are a hardcore fan of the sport, you love this card. So let's go with the guy who's 0-2 in the UFC, Matt, Manel Kape. You know, he lost to what's his name?
Nicolau and Pantoja.
Yeah.
I knew you could bring this fight up, so I was ready on his page, and I already know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Right. Yeah, and he's going up against Ode Osborne, 1-1 in the UFC. So you could say he's doing better than Manel Kape. But Manel Kape was brought over here from Rizin and right into the 125 deep end versus Pantoja in his first fight. And so we know that he's getting paid the big bucks. UFC wants to move him along. What do you think about this matchup, Matt?
So what I've taken from Starboy so far to this point, especially I think in both fights, to be honest with you, guy's just a slow starter. But when he gets going, man, I forget which fight it was. I believe it was Nicolau, but I think we can all agree, Mike, there was a bad decision. One of those two fights he won without question. And I think that he corrects those mistakes. He's beaten a guy that his only win is against fucking Jerome Rivera. He's lost to Brian Kelleher. Not a knock on Kelleher, but nonetheless, I think Starboy would beat him up. I'm actually considering making him my lock, to be honest with you. I've been staring at him. I think he's due. Like you said, he came over from Rizin with high expectations that I think maybe they're a little too high. Dana's giving him a layup here. And I'm not going to say a layup. He's giving him a fight he should win. Get him back on track. That's what this fight is. That's what the lines tell you. And I don't think it's that pricey for a guy that's as capable as him. His striking's fucking serious, man. He's just – there's nothing worse when you don't see output. And then all of a sudden in the round 3, you see a guy teeing off here. Like, where was this the last 10 minutes? But nonetheless, like Starboy here, I think he gets on track in the UFC and, reboots his career a little bit.
Lock worthy for sure. I think he rolls here. I think this is a get right spot. I don't think Ode Osborne is even remotely close to this level. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen him do nothing on the regional scenes. He comes here, loses to Kelleher, whatever, beats Jerome Rivera. Everybody beats Jerome Rivera. So I think this is just a massive step up in competition, and the line is not wide enough. I think he should be much wider. So Cap is going to roll here. All right, return of the past here. We got Karolina Kovacevic, 35 years old, going up against Jessica Penne, who's also 38 years old. So they're both over 35. So I don't know. What do you think here, man? I got a soft spot for Kovacevic, so I'm definitely rolling with her.
I mean, I'm definitely going Kovacevic. I mean, if you look at the recent bouts, look at a Penne here, Lupita Gonina's I split decision. Before that, anytime I see a loss on somebody's record to Danielle Taylor, I immediately get it. It's just like, and outside of that, Karolina, her downfall came so fast and so fucking brutal. Like, she was always one of those fighters that was right in the mix for a title shot. She was always one fight away. She had it. And it's hard to say somebody's going to get back on track after 4 losses. And then you put that Andrade fight in your mind, but she's facing killers, man. Killers in the stand-up, too. I mean, Alexa Grasso with boxing as crisp as you could get. Don't need to bring up Jan at all. You just don't. And then Andrade is Andrade. Lost to Waterson. Okay, Waterson she's right in the mix, right? She's one of those fighters that's probably at the time right around where Karolina was. And I think if you bring up the betting lines from the time, it was very even. I could be completely fucking wrong, but I think it was.
No, plus 100, it was plus 100 for Waterson.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right there. I think Karolina is rightfully favored here. And I think she just kind of does what Karolina does here. I think she just kind of tags her up on the feet, pumps the jab a lot, and gets a clean decision victory. I think it's to her benefit that she managed to find a fighter that's actually older than her. I don't know. I just don't think Jessica offers anything that's gonna send Karolina to the hills. Like I said, look at the last 4 opponents. You have title challengers galore, boxers galore, champions galore. It's just Jessica's not that.
Yeah, I thought Jessica lost her last fight. Another one of those bad decisions. She was getting tossed around that cage. If you remember, she was getting thrown across the cage. So as long as Kovacevic is okay in the head, I think she had like kind of mental lapses in the past. That's kind of why after getting knocked out the way she did from Andrade, like to see her cry like the way she did, especially in a couple other losses. She's super emotional, but it's hard to see that, because she went 5 hard rounds with Joanna back when Joanna was like unbeatable, and she dropped Joanna and won a round off Joanna, so like that was like the pinnacle of her career. And then after that, she did okay, and then it was a slippery slope. So, and then she like kind of retire, whatever. Either way, if her head's in the right space, I think she should roll here. But big asterisk there. I actually have a bet on her. I bet her full line. I think it was like minus 125. And I also bet Manel Cap. I parlayed him with Cyril Gane. So I got a lot of action on this card. I got a few more as well.
I'm looking at some bets right now. I really like, and I'm looking at some that I wouldn't fucking bet on with your money.
Right. Yeah, like this next one.
Yeah, like this next one.
We got Ed Herman.
One that Field would blow.
Ed Herman, short fuse, 40 years old, still fighting, doing the damn thing. Going up against Alonzo Menifield.
Alonzo gas tank Menifield.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I totally get that narrative because he has blown his load in the past, but like, I don't know. I feel like he blew his load against Devin Clark, and that was a big learning experience. And then he was like,
Devin Clark, low-key hard to keep up with because he does, for what he is, he's got a good gas tank, and he's got good grappling, he's got good wrestling. And if there's a recipe to spell Menifield, I would say it's that. Tire those big-ass arms out and drag him into deep waters. I don't think Herman does that here. Personally.
No, I don't think so either. I'm definitely picking Alonzo to win. For sure. I just think Alonzo Menifield, even though he's older, he got into the sport a little late, he's still a freak athlete and capable to do well at 205. If he puts his mind to it, that's a big if, but he should roll here. I think he should kill. Short fuse is so slow and can't take damage anymore. And the only way he wins this fight is if Alonzo does gas in round 1 and then he takes rounds 2 and 3. But I don't see it. I think he's going to get knocked down the first round.
Yeah, and low key, Ed Herman does have a gas tank, but would he like? I don't know, man. I just don't see it. Like, what was the fight we had recently that he should not have won?
He kicked Rodriguez in the balls.
No,
No, he got hit.
Rodriguez knocked him out basically, and the ref called a nut shot that wasn't even remotely close to a nut shot. Remember? The fight was over.
Yeah, crazy.
And then
he pulled
and then
as a veteran move.
Yeah. But nonetheless, he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Jesus Christ. Granted, Patrick Cummings is mixed in there, but nonetheless.
Yeah, Patrick Cummings. That's a throwback. You know, Patrick Cummings beat the Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I remember that. It's actually
What?
disgusting. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Kind of world we live in. To 2021, and Jan is fighting Glover Teixeira. And you know who's the backup for that fight, Matt?
Can I guess?
Yeah, guess. No cheating. You're typing something in.
To be honest with you, I was pulling up the rankings just because I need to see, but I didn't look it up. I'm just pulling up the ranking.
Guess.
I will screen share if verification's needed. All right. So is it somebody I'm going to be surprised about? Because I was going to say Projaca.
It is. It's Yuri.
All right. Well, that's the fight. They should just kill one of them and then have Projaca fight because that's the fight.
I know, right? Hey, they're both old. Someone might pull out. If Jan pulls out, make it an interim fight with Yuri. You're muted, Matt. Matt, you're muted.
I was saying, Blachowicz has gained my respect a lot, especially that Izzy fight, even though he had 100 pounds on him. But imagine being Glover and then nowhere you're fighting Yuri instead. It's like, wow, I don't want to fight tonight.
Yeah. No.
But he's going to get knocked out if that happens. He's actually going to get his other teeth knocked out like Rumble did to him.
Yeah. Oh, man. That tooth is still flying somewhere in orbit. All right, yo. Rafael Fiziev. We're going to pass. Draco and Vince Morales is kind of a shitty fight. I think they both really suck. So I'll make a quick pick. I'll pick Draco.
Yeah, Mount Morales is horrible. I was going to go Draco too.
All right. Rafael Fiziev. Dude.
I almost want to I want to send my picks in now because I want to get Fiziev right at 300 where he's at. Because if he goes over, I can't bet him. Because he's going to beat the fucking shit out of Bobby Green.
Okay, so you're one of those that think that's going to happen. I agree. I do think he's going to win. I just think that line is outrageous. No,
I just think that if you look at what Bobby Green is, his style is so hands down and loose, and Fiziev is just the Terminator. He walks forward. He's got traditional Muay Thai stance. He's marching. Everything he does is in a box. He doesn't overextend. And fighters that are that technical on the feet like that, I think are a recipe for disaster against guys that are kind of a circus act like Bobby. Don't get me wrong. He can mix in his wrestling, which is really underrated, but I think we've seen that narrative against Fiziev before, and it doesn't really work.
I like your confidence, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns and just beat the shit out of Bobby for 3 rounds. So that's my pick too. Can't do it. Bobby Green plus 260. It's tempting.
It is tempting, but who did he just beat and beat senselessly and impressively that made me say, okay, oh, he beat the fuck out of Moicano.
Yeah, that. And then listen, hear me out. If Bobby Green didn't lose that split decision to Thiago Moises in his last fight, which a lot of people thought he won, he'd be on a 7-fight win streak right now. And a plus 260, against Rafael Fiziev, who he got knocked out in his first fight by Mustafayev, and then his second fight was against Alex White, right? And then his next fight was against what's his name, the black guy with the mohawk.
He would have been on a 4-fight win streak.
I'm talking about Bobby Green.
Yeah, he would have and he was beating dog shit, dude. He beat Lando, Clay Green, Alan Patrick. Loser. Sorry. There was a time where you were not a loser, but now you're a loser. Before that, back-to-back against Trinaldo and Drake are close, and before that, he beat Eric Coach, whatever.
I think it's Coke.
Yeah, and then he had the draw against Lando, and before that, it was a 3-fight skid, but we don't need to go back that far.
Nah, yeah, he's gonna win. He's gonna beat Bobby.
Yeah, I was so not sold on him, and then his last fight, he just came out looking just flawless from a technical perspective. Very basic, but very flawless. Just hard hitting, defensively sound. And anytime somebody's more defensively sound striker than Bobby Green, I gotta favor them.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, Moicano wanted to be decided that he was the head striking coach at Tiger Muay Thai for a night and decided to strike for with Fiziev and got his shit rocked. I know he tried a couple takedowns, but He's just not a strong wrestler, and Physio's got good hips. So I don't think he finishes Bobby, but I think he rolls. Song Yadong. Dude seems to be 23 for every single year that passes by. He stays 23 years old. Facing Casey Kenny, coming off a close loss to Dominic Cruz. And Yudong's coming off basically 29-28 against Kyler Phillips. Both are prospects. Great fight. Who you got?
Well, I think this is one of those fights where I'm looking at Song Yadong, and we said this narrative for the Kyler Phillips fight, right? He was due for a loss. I think we all thought Cheeto beat him, thought Cody Stamann beat him. There was a draw there. And I think this is a fight where Casey Kenny gives him a lot of problems. I think that he's able to mix it up a lot more than Yadong will. I think he's going to mix in a shit ton of grappling. And I just think he's going to win all of those exchanges. I mean, Casey Kenny, to me, has been one of the most impressive fighters in recent years, I guess you would say. Just pulling up his record really quick. I was looking at him earlier because I've become a huge fan of him. Not old, but I thought he'd be younger than 30. I mean, he had that split decision loss to Dominic Cruz where he came on really late. And before that, he just completely outclassed Nathaniel Wood, who obviously had very high expectations. Beat Louis Smolka, who hasn't. But nonetheless, man, the way that he came on against Dominic Cruz to me is still like top of the food chain good. Even with his old age, I don't really think that this is a step down. Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I saw enough out of him to be confident to beat Yadong because Yadong he just skates by in all of his wins. And I don't like betting on fighters that do that.
No, I'm with you. I can't believe we agreed on everything so far, but yeah, Casey Kenny, I think he's going to win here. I think he's got the better striking, and I think he's got the better grappling, and I think it's pretty evident. It's just Song Yadong hits hard as fuck for the first round and a half, 2 rounds, then he's exhausted. So as long as Kenny can keep his wits about him, I think it's going to be a clear 29-28 because I do think Yadong might be able to throw enough in the first round that the judges are like, damn, those are hard shots, and I'm going to count those as more because Kenny might land more. But I think the first round might go to Yadong, but then from there forward, as long as Kenny's got his head on him straight, I think he's going to roll here.
Yeah, and against Dominic Cruz, the only reason he really lost that fight is the same reason everybody else loses against Dominic Cruz. Just couldn't deal with that footwork. And what is Yadong if not a very stationary target?
Yeah.
He's a sniper, but he don't move much. And now onto a fight that I'm still torn on.
Oh, come on. Tisha Torres, Tiny Tornado. I'm Team Tornado, man. I think I always root against Angela Hill, and I always bet against Angela Hill. So got to bet here too, full line.
I guess, man. I mean, yeah, I look at this fight. And I just see I think Torres has to land the takedown. And for some reason, I wouldn't be shocked if she had a hard time. I don't know why. That's what's scaring me here. Because I think if Angela Hill keeps this standing, she'll be able to win an ugly decision. I'm just not confident here, man. And look at her last 2 fights. I mean, Sam Hughes and Brianna Van Buren. Like, I didn't even know who those two were going into that fight. Hill's been...
Yeah, but read her last 4 losses before that.
Rena Rodriguez, Zaylee Wang, JJ, and Andrade.
Right.
Fair. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Torres because I like backing the fighter that's gonna attempt to mix it up more. But there's these times Angela Hill just shows up. I don't know.
You're right. No, but Angela Hill is also one of those fighters like Song Yadong where she squeaks by and she always cries robbery when she loses, and she wins the super close decisions too. So it's like, I don't know. She gets tired in the 3rd round. I'm not convinced her grappling is better. I just think her get-up game is better and her takedown defense is better than it was in the first time they fought, which, by the way, Tisha won pretty much with her grappling. So we'll see. I'm Tisha, more ways to win. And on the feet, man, Tisha's just as vicious. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a close fight. I'm kind of upset. I got the line was a lot closer. I got it at like minus 140.
Oh, you ruined.
Yeah. And I bet Casey Kenny at minus 110 too. I got like a few full lines and then the parlay.
I just want to backtrack here real quick before I referred to. I hate this dude. I am Joey Diaz, fucking Jan as champion against Koval. I got her mixed up with Weili Zhang. She was never champion and never will be, so she's not a champion. But nonetheless, I just have to correct myself there because I just saw Weili Zhang and I'm not going to get into why I got them mixed up, but I think you can figure it out for yourself.
I thought you meant Yan Shannon.
I did mean Yan Shannon.
Right, yeah. All worked out. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, oh, it took me a second. Good shit, man. That's good. All right, Vicente Luque. Slight favorite, very slight. I think it's like -115 going against Michael Chiesa. And when this fight was on DraftKings like 3 weeks ago, I saw Michael Chiesa +130, and I was like, that's a good bet. But I didn't do it because I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. And now the line is way too close. I don't want anything to do with it. I think it's going to be a tale of two fights. You know what I'm saying? Vicente's going to beat the fucking shit out of him on the feet because Chiesa has not great stand up at all. It leaves a lot to be desired. And then Chiesa is just going to, or Chiesa is going to smother him for 3 rounds and win like a relatively boring decision. What do you think?
Dude, I love Chiesa. I love this fight. The lines are even everywhere. I think Luque, though, man, his jiu-jitsu is so fucking underrated that I don't think that Chiesa is going to have an easy time there. Like, his stand-up is so good and he hits so much harder that I think that he tags him a couple times. Chiesa's going to be a lot more hesitant to enter. Like, if you look at Chiesa's last couple of opponents, not to take anything away from what he's been doing because he's been hot, but I think they've been all tailor-made matchups. He's light years bigger than Dos Anjos. Diego Sanchez, Carlos Condit, I don't even need to really talk about. In his style, I mean, against Neil Magny, he's kind of an all-around better Neil Magny. He's got better grappling, probably hits harder in the stand-up, a little bit more active than Magny. And I think he's going to hit a wall here. He's facing a guy that's could probably match him in strength, match him in jiu-jitsu, and he just hits harder on the feet. I know I'm looking at this very simplistically, but if Chiesa can't get this fight to the ground, and picture this fight playing on your head, do you think Luque is going to just stay on his back? Like, I just don't see Chiesa putting him there and keeping him there.
So I'm picking Luque as well to win, but I do think it's going to be as close as the line indicates. I think that they both have
my favorite fight in the card, by the way. Favorite fight in the card.
Yeah, it's a great fight. Great fight. Whoever wins should be like 1 fight away from a title shot. You know, after they win, whoever wins this fight would be not 1 fight away removed from a title shot. So
tell Leon Edwards that.
Yeah, Leon's definitely should be the front runner, but you know, everybody hates him. No, I'm picking Luque too, man. I think every round starts on the feet. He's gonna be. It's just such a different level of striking. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, I do give the grappling favor to Chiesa, man. He's got that like smothering style. It's not like normal grappling. It's more like I'm gonna suffocate you and you're not gonna be able to do anything kind of grappling.
He gets the back.
He does just enough for the referee not to stand them up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's frustrating to watch, especially if you have a bet against him, which I don't think I can. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. I'll do like maybe over 2.5 because I see it going all 3. But yeah, I'm going to pick Luque just because I think he's going to hit harder, and maybe the judges in Texas can, you know, kind of see that the strikes do a little bit more than maybe Chiesa holding up against the cage. I do think it's going to be a lot of cage fighting. I don't know, man. We will see. It's a great fight. Clash of styles. I can't wait to see what happens. All right. Co-main. Got a bet here. I got Pedro Munoz. I got him at +130. Now the line is like even.
We're losing every dollar on this card. There's not one fight we disagree on.
So... Boom. That's crazy. That never happens. So I think Pedro Munoz is going to lose the first round and then come back in the second and third round and maybe put away Aldo in the third round, but win a convincing 29-28, maybe 30-27 if he can start hard in the first round. Cause you know, Aldo is like one of the best 1-round fighters ever. So Pedro Munoz here, maybe live bet after the first round. If you're one of those guys, you know, it might be.
I'm definitely one of those guys.
Right. So what do you think? Pedro rolls?
I think so, yeah, man. I mean, Jose Aldo technically is still so young, but he's got so many miles on his tires. I think Pedro's going to plant one on his chin, dude. Who bites down on their mouthpiece harder than him and is willing to just fucking bang it out while remaining pretty crisp with his stand-up at the same time. He doesn't get wild, and I think that's a problem for somebody like Aldo. Like, we've seen him hurt before. In the later rounds, when he starts to fade and Pedro refuses to take a step backwards and he's blasting leg kicks early, and Aldo's movement gets a little bit limited and he becomes more of a stationary target, and Pedro's shots are landing a little bit harder than Aldo's, I think Aldo has a problem. That's exactly how I'm looking at this fight. It's not, and I'm not even bringing up the whole grappling factor, because when's the last time we saw Jose Aldo use his top of the food chain grappling? There's gonna be a stand-up fight. I've seen Pedro in stand-up fights before, and there's not many people that I would take over him in just a straight up boxing match. So kickboxing match, because there will be kicks thrown.
Yeah, man, Pedro is elite. I know a lot of people knock him for this.
I don't mean to interrupt here. I think he lost. I think he beat Frankie Edgar personally. So since what year is that? Since 2018, in my opinion, he only has one loss, and that's to the current champion, Aljo. But Brett Johns, Caraway, Cody, Edgar, in my opinion, obviously beat Jimmy Rivera. Fucking guy's pretty good. Doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, he doesn't. A lot of people knock him for the steroid pop he got way back in the day, and
I mean, old news.
People don't forget. But then, hey, he's good, man. He's passing tests now, and he's elite. I mean, he's in his prime right now, so he's got to make a run right now. I'm pretty sure they're like the exact same age. I think they're 2 days apart. I think Pedro's like 2 days older than Aldo. How fucking crazy! But nah, Pedro's gonna win this. Maybe inside the distance, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I might play the under. I haven't done it yet, but I could see it. I could see him winning inside the distance. Maybe play that line. I don't know. We'll see. Great fight. This card is stacked. Main event. You and Chris's favorite fighter, Cyril Gane, going up against Derek the Black Beast Lewis. Main event, Houston, in front of Derek Lewis's home crowd. If he wins this fight, it's the great rematch with Francis Ngannou. What do you think happens? You guys know what I think.
And I don't disagree with you. I just hope something else happens. He's going to just use his drastically superior striking. He's going to beat up the body. He's going to keep himself at a distance, because obviously he can afford to do that. He's going to be the longer guy in there. And you're going to see a guy that's technically sound versus a guy that wins overhands. I think it's going to be straightforward. I think the odds represent what they represent. I don't know if he'll finish the fight, because he's not really an aggressor. Doesn't really have killer instinct, in my opinion. I mean, Dana White will probably rip him after this fight, but he's going to win. I hope he proves me wrong, dude. Nothing's worse than a shitty heavyweight fucking jab fest, but we'll see.
I think he's gonna knock. I think he's gonna.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he took him down. I would not be surprised if he took him down either.
Yeah, choked his ass out. Yeah, no, the submission line is pretty tempting. It's juiced up, but no, I think he's gonna probably hit him to the body, maybe hurt, because we've seen Derek Lewis get hurt multiple times to the body. So I think he's just gonna hit the body, keel over, maybe get grounded, pounded out, maybe take the back at it. Get a rear naked choke. Dude, I'm calling it right now. There is no fucking way Cyril Gane is losing this fight. He's way better than him in every realm of the mixed martial arts, except maybe experience. That's it.
The only way, if Derek Lewis does what Derek Lewis does, dude, that's the only rational way that he loses this fight, is if he just plants one on him. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not. But isn't that every Derek Lewis fight? Look at Volkov. Like, so many fights of that. Now look, Curtis Blades, even though that was around 2 minutes in, like, so many fights, dude. He's just got that one punch power that you hate to bet against, because you literally have to be on your toes for every second of the fight. But outside of that, like you said, dude, there's not one place that he's better except for pure power, and that's not enough for me to bet on him.
Yeah. And you remember when he fucking wound up that uppercut, like he was baiting his leg out there for Curtis Blades, and then he just wound it up that uppercut and put his lights out, and then followed up with 2 punches, and then Curtis Blades was out for like 3 minutes on the canvas, bro. And you're gonna tell me Curtis Blades is coming back in like a month or two against Jairzinho Rosenstruck? Dude, I'm betting Jairzinho to win by knockout, man. I think Curtis Blades' chin is absolutely shot. After that kind of knockout, maybe 6 months ago, after that kind of knockout, you need like a year and a half, 2 years off.
I would make the argument that he's the most complete fighter currently at heavyweight. All encompassing. Like, he's got good stand-up. He's got great takedowns. He's got good ground control. I mean, Ngannou just fucking puts people's lights out. Derek Lewis just puts people's lights out. Rosenstrike is a kickboxer. Like he just, and I said it the last time Blades fought, his favorite hobby is every time he loses, he needs to lose emphatically. And it, unfortunately, like you just said, it's going to take a toll on his career. And I think we're at that point.
Oh, yeah. Crazy. All right. Any closing thoughts, Matt, before we close out?
Honestly, no, man. I think, hold on, let me just pull up my notes here, see if there was anything else I wrote down that was worthy. I don't want to say it's been a quiet week, but it doesn't feel like, I mean, Connor's also not fighting. It just doesn't feel like a pay-per-view week.
No, it doesn't. But
and Rockhold, unfortunately, you know, I kind of favor Rockhold there, man. I really do. I know we obviously don't have to talk about it because the fight's ways away, but Strickland's style of just marching forward, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if Rockhold won.
No, dude, I wouldn't be surprised either, but I think he only has 1, maybe 2 rounds to do it because Strickland is not going to stop. And we've seen Rockhold get exhausted more than once in a fight that he just literally blew his load all over Jan, and then Jan knocked him out. So I think he wins in the first or second round, or Strickland is going to beat his ass for the next 3 rounds and probably knock him out. Rockhold, you don't get any younger, bro, but he's got the skills still, that's for sure.
Rise and fall was so fast.
It really was, man.
And other news, disappointingly, for those who follow Chad Mendes on Instagram and have seen him looking in great shape, hitting pads, lightning fast, fucking hard as thunder, the whole 9. Anybody that was getting excited for a return, he is. Just not the return we were expecting. He's going to Bare Knuckle FC. What looks to be, it says a multi-fight deal. For somebody who loves combat sports, man, I just have no interest in bare knuckle. I just think it's fucking brutal. Even Joe Rogan retracted his statement on what he thought about going gloveless. Like, I don't want to see Chad in there, man. I love Chad. I don't want to see him getting fucked up like that. Sucks. I would rather him come back to the UFC and get fucked up. at least there's gloves on.
Yeah.
Then his strength is wrestling. You're going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate it. I think he could have came in and probably competed within the top 5 to 10. Not going to say he's ever going to fight for a belt again, but he would have been there. If you look at his last couple losses, it was nothing embarrassing. He's lost to, like, the top of the food chain guys. So I would have liked to see him back in the UFC. I've always loved Mendes, but I guess I have to watch him and Paige Van Zandt together.
Yeah, Paige Van Zandt's got her back against the wall here. She was like a minus 300 favorite over Rachel Ostovich, and just like,
yeah,
she's just awful. She had a couple fluky wins in the UFC, but she's actually like an absolutely awful combat sports athlete.
I'm so tired of her like saying my time will come and I'll rebound, I'll be back bigger. Like, enough with the gimmick. You're hot. You got a husband that's actually a good fighter. Just go to other avenues of revenue, please. You just don't need to do this anymore. I'm not trying to knock her. I'm trying to give her some advice that she'll never hear. You're in a position where you no longer need to take brain and bodily damage for a paycheck. Why would you continue to do that? And I guess you could say, oh, a fighter's always going to fight. Like, it's in there. But is she really a fucking fighter, dude? She tries to fight. Oh.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like she wants to fight anymore. But dude, that's kind of what I saw in Karolina Kowalkiewicz in their last like couple of fights. It's like, does she even want to fight anymore? So we'll see. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is, and I think she wins. But all right, Matt, you go get dinner, man. All right, I'll catch you later. Everyone, we'll see you next week.
Enjoy the fight, everybody.